Hi guys, welcome back. So let's have a look at Ireland versus Australia. This is going to be a good game. Ireland, 2 wins, but they haven't been fluent as they normally are, so they'll want to improve. Australia, off the back of that painful loss against Italy. Italy, fantastic win, deserved the win. Australia, very much up and down, can be amazing, can drop off. I imagine a bounce back from them, so this could be good. The Ireland team, well, they changed it quite a lot for Fiji, so they're probably always going to change it a lot for this game as well. But that poor performance against Fiji, even though they won, many people saying it wasn't very good. Unsurprising, there are a lot of changes. So let's have a look at it here. Porter, Sheehan, Furlong is their best available front row. Sheehan's actually got a nomination for best world newcomer of the year, so that's good for him. Obviously waiting for Kelleher to come back as well. Let's see what happens when that happens. In the second row, and again, it's their best second row and pretty much their best pack available. So that's good news. The talented Tyburn, James Ryan, who had a bit of a rest, he's back in. That's great news. Peter Amani, who just keeps churning out the performances, keeps making friends. Josh van der Fleer, another World Player of the Year nominee, so that's impressive. And Caelan Doris there, looks like he's ousted Conan for now at number 8, a really talented player. So it's as good as it can be in the pack for Ireland. Then we've got Gibson Park at 9, and the onus on him is to get this attack going early, which hasn't really happened so far. So they really want to get that going alongside the ever-present Johnny Sexton, another World Player of the Year nominee. Jim O'Brien gets moved onto the wing. He's talented, he's versatile, hence he gets moved around, poor lad. One guy who does stay, though, is Stuart McCloskey. Big news there. I did wonder if Aki would come straight back into inside centre, but they're sticking with McCloskey. Good news, he's got a lot of talent. One of those guys you thought might get passed over, but he's being given a go, so that's really cool. Ringrose is in at 13. Henshaw is injured, but that's a pretty good replacement there, so I don't think that's going to be a problem. Hansen moves on to the other wing, and Keenan returns at fullback. So it's a very good team personnel-wise starting for Ireland. Can they get that game going straight away? On the bench, plenty of experience in the front row with Herring, Healy and Beelum. Not so at second row, having a look at McCarthy. That'll be interesting. Conan with a point to prove off the bench in the back row. Then Casey, Crowley and Aki are the backs replacement. Carberry's not available. Concussion protocol, that sort of thing. So let me know what you think of the Irish team. Now let's look at Australia. Pretty much the best team they can put out. They'll want to have a better team performance though than they did against Italy. The hugely experienced James Slipper continues, loosehead and captain. Parecki and Alatoa, no real surprise there. On the bench, obviously some impact of the likes of Tupou off the bench in the front row. Frost and Neville are in the second row. Not a lot of caps between them, but they're doing fairly solid there. Then Holloway at 6, Hooper returns at 7, and Big Valentini at 8, his best position. So that's good news. White and Foley continue as halfbacks. Good news in the centres, they get Paisami and Iki Tau together. Probably their best line out when Karevi's not there. On the right wing, we've got Narakwana Tawazi. Let me know if I said that right. On the left wing, we've got Tom Wright, who's been playing fantastically well. Kellaway moves to 15. He's fairly versatile, so that's not a problem. Some more big boys on the bench in Skelton and Samu, so some impact there. Gordon 9, Lolaseo 10 replacement, Pataya, the rest of the backs replacement. So it's a pretty good team, but let's see how they perform. Disappointing last week, they'll want to bounce back. Ireland will want their best performance as well, so that's set up really nicely. Let me know what you think of those teams. Okay, next up, let's have a look at Scotland taking on Argentina. I don't have the Argentinian team at time of recording, so let's look at Scotland. Schoeman, Brown and Fageson in the front row. They do lose a player in the second row with Richie Gray being suspended, but his brother comes in, Johnny Gray, so that's a great replacement there. Gilchrist alongside him, of course. Interesting in the back row. They move Fagerson, who's pretty much always been at 8, to 6 to give Dempsey a go at 8. I mentioned last week against New Zealand I was really impressed with Dempsey's physicality, so definitely worth trying him at 8. And then Jamie Ritchie continues at 7, who's been playing so well indeed. Into the backs, obviously you've got Price there, ever present. Finn Russell retains, which is good because he looked really good against New Zealand, some amazing passes. Kinghorn's on the bench covering, maybe that's the best combo anyway. Then we got Tuipulotu and Harris, a very solid centre partnership. And the back three were just fantastic last week. Van der Merwe, Graham and Hogg caused absolute havoc. Yes, they couldn't convert as much as they wanted, but goodness me, they look sharp, absolutely. On the replacements bench for Scotland, a bit of inexperience, so Gregor Townsend taking a little bit of a risk here. We've got Walker, Young and Christie, not many caps between them, so let's see how they go. Ben White, who's always done so well for Scotland, he's only on 8 caps, but he looks to make an impact every time. Kinghorn, I mentioned, covers 10 and 15, and Cameron Redpath, very interested to see him come off the bench. When the game opens out with his passing range, could be very good. And then finally on to Wales versus Georgia. Again, don't have the Georgian team at time of recording, so let's look at Wales. Going Thomas, Owens and Lewis, giving Owens plenty of game time to get him back into the swing of things. And they're trying young Carter in at the second row. I think that's a good call. They need to build some depth in second row. Alan Wynne-Jones isn't getting any younger, so he goes alongside Beard, so I think that's a good call. I really like Morgan, so we'll see more of him at 6. Tipuric looked much more himself last match at 7, much sharper, so I think it was just a case of match fitness. I was worried that he was really dropping off a cliff, but he maybe not quite physically as bulky as he used to be, as powerful as he used to be, but he's still a hell of a player. McLeod comes in at 8, who's a guy who's been around for a while, but injuries have kept him away, so he finally gets a shot to show what he can do. Thomas Williams was super impressive last week. Great charge down for his try. So unsurprisingly, he goes again, although they do rotate the 10s with Priestland getting a role at 10. Watkin, who often has to wait on the sidelines, gets a start at 12 with North at 13. Adams comes back in, so great to get him back into the fold alongside Cuthbert. So it's a very bulky winger selection. And at 15, we get the lightning fast Reece Zammit. Looked really sharp from 15 in the last match. Let's see if he can recreate that again and be a real option in the future at fullback. Then on the bench, yes, some inexperience here and there. We've got Roberts, Jones and Wainwright. Falatau's probably there as break glass in case of emergency, as is Halfpenny. Some youngsters again replacing the halfbacks. Blacker, who many guys said is the form player in the leagues at the moment in Wales. And then young Costello. So definitely some youngsters to come on as well. I think they should do pretty well against Georgia. I think their tails are up. Okay guys, let me know what you think of all those teams. Pop all the comments below and I'll catch you next time.